They noticed. That is the part nobody is going to say out loud to your face, so I am going to say it to you right now, quietly, like a secret across a kitchen table. They noticed. And not in the polite way, not in the way, oh, you look nice today, way that people say and then forget by lunch. I'm talking about the kind of noticing that follows someone home, the kind that sit with them at night when the house is quiet and the phone is face down and there is nothing left to distract them from the fact that something about you has changed and they cannot name it. You have probably noticed it too, not in yourself, in them. The pause, that half second pause when you walk into a room and the conversation catches on something like fabric snagging a nail. The way someone's sentence loses its ending, the way eyes move to you, and the way too fast, like they got caught. You have probably noticed that people are warmer with you now in ways that feel almost nervous, or colder in ways that feel almost personal. You have probably noticed a certain person watching you when they think you are looking at your phone. And you told yourself you were imagining it. You're not imagining it. That is real. That is real. Let me be really specific because work comfort is useless and you did not come here to work. Think of a specific moment. Maybe it's a Tuesday, nothing special about it. You are standing somewhere ordinary, a break room, a doorway, the checkout line, and you are not performing. Your face is at rest. Your shoulders are not holding anything, you're just there. And somebody looks at you for 1 second too long. And when you meet their eyes, they smile a little too quickly, a little too bright, and they say something that does not quite land. And you walk away thinking that was strange. That was not strange. That was heat. Here is what nobody tells you. There is a moment after laugh, right after, when the sound fades and the face settles and most people rush to feel it. They keep the smile propped up like a tent pole because the settling is where the truth lives. You stopped doing that. Somewhere in the last 6 months, maybe longer, you stopped propping. Your face settles now into something heavier and calmer, and you don't apologize for it. And people feel that. They feel it the way you feel a fire 2 rooms away, you don't see it. You just know something in the house is burning. Here is what most people don't understand about being noticed. They think it's about looking good. It is not. Attention is cheap and it's everywhere and it's worth almost nothing. What you have now is not attention, it's disturbance. There is a difference. Attention is when some people glances. Disturbance is when someone can't stop thinking about the glance 3 days later, replaying it, wondering what you meant by nothing, wondering why the memory of you standing there being completely unburst. lodges itself in their chest like a splinter. And you know how that sounds. I know how that sounds, but you already knew this before I said it. That's why you're still here. Let me be really specific again, because I don't want you walking away from this thinking. I mean something vague and flattering. There is a person, and you are thinking of them already. Your brain supplied a face before I finished the sentence, who used to be able to move you. Not in a dramatic way, in small ways. A tone, a look, a comment made lightly enough that you could not object without seeming sensitive. And they knew exactly where their themes were. They knew which sentence would keep you up. They had been mapping you for years, without even doing it consciously. The way you learn the creak in a floorboard. And then, one day, the floorboard did not creak. Think about it from their side for a second. They pressed the button and nothing happened. They said the thing, and you look at them with something that was not hurt and was not anger. It was worse than both. It was neutrality. It was the calm of someone who has finally stopped needing them to be right about you. And that neutrality landed in them like a stone dropped in a well, and they are still right now waiting to hear it hit bottom. That is why they are checking. That is why they bring you up in conversations you are not in. They are not gossiping, they are researching. They are looking for the version of you they used to know how to hold. And they can't find her, and they can't find him. And the not finding is the thing that is keeping them awake. So let me be let me be specific and tell you what actually happened, because there was a moment, there always is. Something shifted, and it did not shift with a decision or a declaration or some big cinematic thing where you finally said the thing you have been swallowing for years. It shifted quieter than that. One day, someone said something designed to get a reaction out of you, one of those little barbs wrapped in a joke, the kind you had normally absorbed and carry home and turn over at 2 a.m., and you just did not. You heard it, you registered it, and you let it fall on the floor between you, and you did not pick it up. That was it. That was the whole thing. You have not become someone different. You just stopped hiding. You stopped auditioning for people who were never going to cast you. You stopped explaining yourself to people who were committed to misunderstanding you on purpose. You stopped shrinking yourself down to a size that made everyone else feel taller. And you did not announce any of it. You just quietly stopped. And silence like that. Silence like that is the loudest thing in the room. Now, here is the part I really need you to hear because this is where it gets uncomfortable, and I want you to sit in the discomfort with me for a second. They are not okay. The people around you, some of them, not all, you know exactly which ones, they are not okay right now. They are genuinely destabilized, and and they would rather be caught doing almost anything that admitted. Somebody has been going back through your photos. Somebody has been quietly checking to see if you have posted. Somebody rehearsed a conversation with you in the shower this week and lost the argument to a version of you that was not even there. Somebody described you to a friend and used the word different and could not explain what they meant. And the not being able to explain, it is the part that is eating them. And here is what is really happening. And it's not what you think. They are not reacting to who you are. They are reacting to what you are reflecting back at them. So you should know it. Because when someone stops performing in the room full of performers, the performance becomes visible. You become the mirror, and a mirror does not do anything. A mirror does not attack. A mirror just refuses to lie. And that is unbearable to a certain kind of person, not because they don't care about you, but because they care too much about what your existence says about their own. That is what's burning them up. That is what the heat is. It was never about you at all. So let me give you the only thing I actually came here to give you. Let them. Let them talk. Let them theorize. Let them decide you have changed and mean it as an insult. Let them be uncomfortable in the exact room they made uncomfortable for you for years. That discomfort is not yours to manage. It never was. You don't have to explain. You don't have to make it easier for them. You don't have to soften the edges of your own, becoming so that somebody who was fine with the smaller version of you can keep being comfortable. That is not your responsibility. It has never been your responsibility, and I need you to stop picking it back up every time they set it at your feet. You are not being cold, you are being wise. You are not being distant, you are being accurate. That sensitivity you spent your whole life apologizing for, the thing they called too much, the thing they made you feel like you were built wrong. That is the exact instrument they let you feel the room shift before anyone else did. You don't feel too much. You feel thirst. There is a difference. There has always been a difference, and nobody told you. Let them wonder. Let them be shook. Let the silence do what silence always does. Tell the truth. And you don't have to do anything with any of this. That is the part that trips people up. You don't have to confront anyone or post anything or win. You just keep living. You go to work, You laugh at something stupid. You become so quietly, boringly, beautifully alive that anybody looking for action finds nothing but the sound of your own peace. And now, listen, because something is coming and you can already feel it in your chest, even if you had never said it out loud. So, the next 6 months don't look like the last six. The people living right now were always living. They just needed a reason, and your refusal to shrink gave them one. And that is a gift, even though it does not feel like one yet. And in the space, they're vacating. New people are arriving. People who don't need you to explain the heat. People who walk into it and feel warm instead of threatened. Opportunities are opening that were never going to find the version of you that was still auditioning. This is your moment to stop waiting for permission that was never going to be issued. You have already chosen this. You chose it the day you let that comment hit the floor and kept walking. Everything since then has just been the world catching up. They noticed. Of course, they noticed. You can't burn quietly and expect the room not to feel it. But you were never the fire to be watched. You are the fire that warms the ones who are brave enough to come close. And they are coming. They are already on their way. You don't have to do a single thing to make it happen except keep refusing to put yourself out. So stop dimming. Stop explaining. Stop apologizing for the temperature of your own existence. You are not too much. You were never too much. You were just finally visible. Stay warm. Love your realness.